The Midnight Stalker, A Tale of Fear. Part 1, The Shadow in the Night. The small town of Ridgewood was known for its serene landscapes, friendly neighbors, and peaceful nights. Nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, it was the kind of place where everyone knew everyone, and the biggest excitement was the annual fair. But all that changed one chilly autumn evening when fear began to creep into the hearts of its residents. It started with whispers of strange occurrences. Mrs. Jenkins, the town librarian, swore she saw a shadowy figure lurking near her garden just past midnight. She described it as tall and lean, moving with an unsettling grace. At first, her friends dismissed it as a figment of her imagination or perhaps a trick of the moonlight. But as days turned into weeks, more reports began to surface. Mr. Thompson, the town's butcher, heard footsteps outside his window one night. The sound was soft but deliberate, as if someone was pacing back and forth. When he mustered the courage to peek through the curtains, he saw nothing but the empty street illuminated by the dim glow of the street lamp. Despite the absence of a visible threat, he couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Soon, the mysterious figure was given a name, the Midnight Stalker. The sightings increased, and so did the tension. People avoided going out after dark, doors were locked, and windows were bolted shut. Children were no longer allowed to play outside in the evenings, and the once lively streets became eerily silent after sunset. Detective Sarah Miller, a seasoned investigator from the nearby city, was called in to look into the matter. With her sharp instincts and a reputation for solving even the most perplexing cases, she was Ridgewood's best hope for uncovering the truth behind the Midnight Stalker. Sarah arrived with her partner, Officer Jake Harris, and immediately sensed the palpable fear that gripped the town. Sarah and Jake set up their base in the local sheriff's office. Their first step was to interview the witnesses. Mrs. Jenkins recounted her experience with trembling hands, her eyes darting nervously around the room as if the stalker might be hiding in the shadows. Mr. Thompson's account was equally unsettling, his voice barely above a whisper as he described the footsteps that haunted his nights. The detectives combed through the town's surveillance footage, hoping to catch a glimpse of the elusive figure. But the Midnight Stalker was cunning, always staying just out of the camera's reach. The lack of concrete evidence only fueled the town's paranoia. Rumors spread like wildfire, each more terrifying than the last. Some believed the stalker was a ghost, others thought it was a deranged, escaped convict hiding in the woods. As the days passed, Sarah and Jake began to piece together a pattern. The sightings were not random, they followed a specific route that wound through the heart of Ridgewood, always occurring between midnight and 3 a.m. The detectives decided to stake out the most recent location of the sightings, hoping to catch the stalker in the act. On a cold, moonless night, Sarah and Jake parked their unmarked car a few blocks from Mrs. Jenkins' house, their eyes trained on the street. Hours ticked by in silence, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves. Just when they were about to call it a night, Sarah noticed a flicker of movement in the corner of her eye. She nudged Jake, who immediately turned his gaze in the same direction. There, under the faint glow of the street lamp, stood a shadowy figure. The midnight stalker had arrived. Part 2. The chase begins. The midnight stalker stood motionless, a dark silhouette against the dim light. Sarah's pulse quickened as she gripped the flashlight, her mind racing with possibilities. Jake reached for his radio, ready to call for backup, but Sarah motioned for him to wait. They needed to observe, to understand the stalker's behavior. The figure moved with an airy calm, gliding along the sidewalk. Sarah and Jake followed at a distance, careful not to alert their quarry. The stalker paused in front of Mrs. Jenkins' house, head tilting as if listening for something. A chill ran down Sarah's spine. She strained to hear any sound that might explain the stalker's actions but heard only the whisper of the wind through the trees. Suddenly, the figure turned and began to walk away. Sarah and Jake exchanged a glance, then moved quickly but quietly to follow. They kept to the shadows, their footsteps muffled by the soft ground. The stalker's path was deliberate, weaving through the town in a seemingly random pattern, but always sticking to the darkest areas. The chase continued for what felt like an eternity. The detectives' nerves were on edge, every rustle and creak magnified by the silence of the night. Just as Sarah was beginning to wonder if they were wasting their time, the stalker stopped abruptly in front of an old, abandoned house on the outskirts of Ridgewood. The house had a reputation for being haunted, and few dared to go near it even during the day. The stalker slipped through a gap in the fence and disappeared into the shadows of the decrepit building. Sarah and Jake followed, their flashlights cutting through the darkness. The air inside was damp and musty, the floorboards creaking under their weight. They moved cautiously, every sense on high alert. As they ventured deeper into the house, Sarah noticed signs of recent activity, footprints in the dust, a broken window, and what appeared to be hastily abandoned belongings. The stalker had been using this place as a hideout. Sarah felt a surge of triumph. They were getting closer. They reached a large room at the back of the house. The walls were lined with old, rotting bookshelves, and in the center was a makeshift table covered in papers and maps. It looked like a planning station, evidence of the stalker's meticulous nature. Sarah picked up one of the maps, her eyes scanning the marked locations. "Jake, look at this," she whispered, showing him the map. The locations corresponded to the sightings, each one marked with a precise date and time. The stalker had been methodically terrorizing the town, following a calculated plan. Suddenly, a noise from upstairs shattered the silence. Sarah and Jake exchanged a tense glance and began to ascend the creaky staircase, their flashlights illuminating the narrow steps. As they reached the top, the air grew colder, and the sense of foreboding intensified. They followed the noise to a room at the end of the hall, the door slightly ajar. Sarah pushed the door open, her flashlight beam revealing a figure standing by the window, back turned to them. The stalker. Sarah's heart pounded as she stepped forward, her voice steady but firm. Freeze! Don't move! The figure remained still for a moment, then slowly turned around. The face that met their gaze was not what Sarah had expected. It was a young woman, her eyes wide with a mix of fear and defiance. She looked more like a victim than a predator, her appearance disheveled and haunted. "Who are you?" Jake demanded, his voice edged with confusion. "Why have you been terrorizing this town?" The woman's eyes darted between them, her lips trembling as she struggled to find her voice. I had no choice," she whispered. "He made me do it." "Who made you?" Sarah asked, stepping closer. "Who's behind this?" The woman took a deep breath, her voice barely audible. "The real stalker. He's watching us right now." Before Sarah or Jake could react, the sound of footsteps echoed through the house, growing louder and more frantic. The real midnight stalker was
Part
coming.
3.
Unmasking the real threat. The footsteps grew louder, reverberating through the decaying walls of the abandoned house. Sarah and Jake's adrenaline surged as they realized the true midnight stalker was approaching. The young woman's eyes widened in terror, and she backed away, pressing herself against the wall. "Stay behind us," Sarah ordered, her voice steady despite the pounding of her heart. She and Jake positioned themselves defensively, flashlights trained on the doorway. A figure emerged from the shadows, cloaked in darkness. The air grew thick with tension as the stalker stepped into the dim light, revealing a masked face. The mask was grotesque, a twisted smile carved into it, adding to the figure's menacing presence. "Who are you?" Jake demanded, his voice echoing in the empty room. The stalker remained silent, tilting his head slightly, as if studying them. Sarah could feel the weight of his gaze, a cold, calculating stare that sent shivers down her spine. She tightened her grip on her flashlight, ready for anything. Without warning, the stalker lunged forward, moving with a speed and agility that took them by surprise. Sarah and Jake split, each dodging in opposite directions. The stalker's attack was relentless, a flurry of swift, precise movements aimed at disarming them. Sarah managed to strike back, her flashlight connecting with the stalker's arm. He grunted in pain but didn't slow down. Jake, meanwhile, tried to grab the stalker from behind, but the figure twisted away, delivering a sharp kick that sent Jake stumbling backward. The young woman, witnessing the chaos, found a surge of courage. She picked up a piece of broken wood from the floor and hurled it at the stalker, aiming for his head. The wood struck the mask, causing it to crack and fall to the ground, revealing the stalker's true face. Sarah and Jake froze, their eyes widening in shock. The face beneath the mask was familiar, Officer Mike Sanders, a respected member of the Ridgewood police force. The revelation hit them like a punch to the gut. Mike! Sarah exclaimed, disbelief etched on her face. Why? Mike's expression was a mix of anger and frustration. You wouldn't understand, he spat, his voice dripping with bitterness. Ridgewood needed a wake-up call. Everyone was too comfortable, too complacent. I wanted to shake things up, to remind them that danger is always lurking. Jake, regaining his balance, stepped forward. You terrorized innocent people for what? To prove a point? You've lost your mind, Mike. Mike laughed, a cold, hollow sound. You're too naive, Jake. People only appreciate safety when they've known fear. Before they could react, Mike made a desperate dash for the window, intending to escape. Sarah and Jake sprinted after him, but the young woman acted first. With a burst of determination, she grabbed a heavy book from the makeshift table and hurled it at Mike, hitting him squarely in the back. He stumbled, losing his balance and falling to the floor. Sarah and Jake quickly subdued him, securing his hands with a pair of handcuffs. The young woman collapsed against the wall, her breath coming in ragged gasps. It's over, Sarah said, her voice soft but firm. You're safe now. The woman nodded, tears streaming down her face. Thank you. I didn't want to do any of this, but he threatened my family. I had no choice. Jake placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. We'll make sure he pays for what he's done. You did the right thing. As they led Mike out of the abandoned house, the first light of dawn began to break over Ridgewood. The town had been shaken to its core, but with the midnight stalker unmasked and in custody, there was a sense of relief in the air. Sarah knew it would take time for the town to heal, but they had taken the first step. In the days that followed, the truth about Mike Sanders spread through Ridgewood, leaving the community stunned. The young woman, whose name was Emily, was hailed as a hero for her bravery. Sarah and Jake were commended for their relentless pursuit of justice. Ridgewood slowly returned to its peaceful routine, the fear of the midnight stalker fading into memory. But the town would never forget the lesson learned during those harrowing nights, that courage, compassion, and the unwavering pursuit of truth could overcome even the darkest of threats.